Well, he has done it again, down 2-1 in back-to-back matches with the incredible feat of finishing at, I believe, 3:06 a.m. in the last match. Novak Djokovic does it again and proves why he is the greatest of all time. There you go. Look at that score line. Djokovic comes back from that and wins it in 5 sets. There is one little problem. Before we talk about the problem, though, take a look at this. Remember this throwback from a couple years ago at Wimbledon? Well, not only has Djokovic come back from 2-1 again, he's also done this iconic air joker move again. Check this out. Get the arms out for the airplane. It's air joker time. Now, that's all well and good, but we have some bad news for the Joker. But before we get to the bad news, though, let's take a look at this. Greatest of all time is constantly setting greatest of all time kind of records. And here's the latest. Grand Slam match wins in total, 370 for Novak Djokovic. That's good for number 1 all time. And, of course, he's just moved 1 ahead of Roger Federer, who will not be adding to that number. Rafa Nadal, I think he will be able to add to that. I think he's going to play again. Maybe he only gets a couple more wins, but I think he'll add to it. He definitely won't get to 370, that's for sure. And then after we drop off from the big 3 as usual, pretty far off, but give respect to Jimmy Connors, Andre Agassi, and a rare appearance on these greatest of all time lists. We see John McEnroe down there at number 10. He was pretty great himself. There is bad news, though. Take a look at this. Djokovic is now unsure if he will play in the quarterfinals. Now, do I really believe this? No, I don't. We'll take a closer look at it, but later in the show. But I think Djokovic, of course, is going to play, and maybe he won't be a 100%, and maybe he's now, in my eyes at least, he's dropped in his chances of winning this tournament. But he has definitely added to his legend winning the way he did today. There is no clear favorite in this tournament, although Sinner's now looking much better than we would have expected. Same with Alcaraz. Alcaraz is hitting 107-mile-per-hour forehands. But it's still pretty open as it's been. We have to see them play their matches tomorrow. Alcaraz has a big test coming up. I like his chances, though, with Tsitsipas, as he is getting better and better. But with Djokovic now possibly being injured, this reduces his chances of winning the tournament. And I'm going to throw it back. I'm going to throw it back to my draw show, which didn't get published on YouTube because the French Open took it down before it even went. As it was uploading, the French Open was able to see clips in it that they didn't want me to put in there, and they took it down. But I can show this small clip talking about who could possibly win the French Open this year from the draw show that never made it to air. This is the one person maybe we forget who had a pretty good day today. Take a look. Double duty in Geneva, in Switzerland, just a couple days ago. Pulling double duty just yesterday. You would think, what's the guy doing over there having to play 2 matches in one day in this rainy tournament? Constantly getting rained out, having to stop matches and start matches, delay matches, pick them up the next day matches. That's not ideal preparation. The day before the French Open should be the most important tournament of the entire year for Casper Ruud. It's not ideal, but I got to give him credit for the chutzpah.
And to the sponsors, especially Gonnet, my friend. Has a prize money ready, or is it ready?
Maybe he's going to win it all.
Casper Ruud boy. Casper Ruud boy.
Yeah, that's right. Casper Ruud boy is also in the mix. This is pretty open, huh? It's pretty open. We got a lot of guys who could win it. I was putting Djokovic ahead of everyone in his half of the draw. But now after the injury, oh God, I was so ready after his last match coming back. I was like, that's exactly what he needed. He's ready to win this thing. Of course, Sinner and Alcaraz might be able to stop him. They look like the injury thing is not as big of a deal as many of us thought it would be. First, Alcaraz has a big test tomorrow, just like my draw predicted. This would be the one where we're going to find out what he's really capable of doing this year at the French Open. Take a look at this head-to-head. Alcaraz against Steph Tsitsipas, who he plays tomorrow in a very big match. In my draw, I have Tsitsipas beating Alcaraz now. I am leaning towards Alcaraz for sure. And you can't blame me, right? Look at this. 3 matches on clay, 2 on hard courts going back to 2021 U.S. Open. And most recent time they played, quarterfinal last year at the French Open. 6-2, 6-1, 7-6. After a match like that last year, how can you favorite Tsitsipas over Alcaraz? Well, the only way you can do it is if Alcaraz is injured. So that explains my draw. Looking forward to that match. Let's look at another almost 5-0 head-to-head. Djokovic and Casper Ruud. I don't fully believe that Djokovic is not going to show up pretty healthy and play great and win the match. You know what I mean? Like he's injured, but we've seen this happen before, where Joker has an injury in the middle of a tournament, and then he wins the tournament. But Casper Ruud, like I said in the intro, he won a couple tournaments coming in here. He won his biggest tournament in his career yet, winning an ATP 500 in Barcelona. So things are looking good for Casper Ruud. I was saying in that little clip I played from the draw show that never made it, I was basically saying, usually the guy who wins the tournament, you don't see him playing in a tournament that finishes the day before the French Open starts. Usually the favorites don't do those little tournaments like that. But Casper Ruud, I think, is definitely in the mix. He's looking very good. Let's move over to Djokovic. Let's finish up with this Djokovic stuff. So that article I showed you earlier, themajors.com, I think it was. What Djokovic has said. Well, for the last couple of weeks, I have had, I would say, slight discomfort in my right knee. I haven't had an injury that would be concerning me at all. I was playing a few tournaments with it, no issues until today. Of course, late finish from a few nights ago against Musetti didn't help. The sleeping, biorhythm, the recovery, but I actually felt great coming into this match. So Joker's saying he was great coming into this match, and we're going to get into why he got injured. I did carry it with me for a couple of weeks, talking about the injury from before, but I did not feel it was affecting me on the court, meaning that as soon as I would warm up, I would feel fine. I would run, I would do splits, slides, whatever, it wasn't any kind of issue. When I was cold, that's where I would feel discomfort. We did put an extra attention to it the last few days in my physio and everything, predicted something might happen, but yeah, that helped. I don't know. Today is just one of these things where you're on court, you slip, you do a bad move, you're unstable, unbalanced position, and then you hurt it. I guess that's probably a weaker part of my body that has had some few weeks of history, I guess, that reacted, blah, 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 blah. All right, so you get the point. He's saying that, this was a small issue, but something aggravated it today. In the third game of the second set, I slipped. One of the many times that I slipped and fell today that affected the knee. Then I started feeling the pain, asked for the physio, tried to take care of it. I did disrupt me during play for 2 sets and a half. I didn't want to stay in the rally too long. Every time he would make sudden drop shots or change directions, I would not be feeling comfortable to do the running. So that kind of explains, and it makes sense. I didn't think this would be a super tough match for Djokovic. I thought like 3 or 4 sets Djokovic would take this one. And you could clearly see that he wasn't playing his normal game and that he was hindered. I don't think he's making it up, obviously. In the very next game, I saw that the care did not help so much. The physio did his best, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is they gave him, he says, he didn't want to chase down drop shots anymore. It was really hurting him. They gave him anti-inflammatories, and it kicked in just in time. And I remember, I was starting to give up on Djokovic. I was starting to think, I kept thinking, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. We've seen this before. And then in that fourth set, I started to lose belief in Joker. But I also at the same time was thinking, whatever they gave him, if he can stay alive long enough for it to kick in, he might be able to turn it around. And he did it. He did it so late. I was starting to give up on him. The reason why I continued is because I really wanted to see, this is a Joker quote, I really wanted to see whether an extra anti-inflammatory and medication that I'm going to take are going to kick in and actually help me reduce some of the limitations, which is what happened. After the third set was done, I asked the doctor to come and give me something extra. He said, this is it. This is the max I can give you. And after 45 minutes, it kicked in, and it was enough to enable me to play my best at the end of the match. I mean, just in time. It was really, it was incredible to see the way that match finished after everything Djokovic went through. You see him struggle and win so many times. So, like I said, I fully expected him to make a run to come back, to make a strong push to come back. And then I started to thinking, I think even the Joker is too much in the hole. And then, of course, he does it. We have done some with the doctor, positive news, but also some maybe concerns. So let's see. I can tell you more about it. I can't tell you more about it at this moment, says Joker. I guess we'll do some more screening and tests and checkups on Tuesday. I don't know if he says it here or I saw it somewhere else, but he says ask me tomorrow, basically. So maybe the Joker will not play. I seriously doubt it. Comment below if you think the Joker is pulling out of here. I doubt it. I do think it hurts his chances to win, and Casper Ruud is going to be tough. But if he can survive Casper Ruud, I think he'll have time to recover enough to win this thing. So we shall see. One person we're not talking about is Alex de Minaur. Let's take a look at this. Medvedev says, we know de Minaur can beat anybody in the West Australian. And a couple quotes he said caught my eye. Today, he played probably the best match we ever played, Medvedev said about his match with de Minaur today. I watched his matches on clay this year to try to see which tactic I should play, but I didn't see him play like this. I mean, his serve today, he was serving better than most guys I played on clay, so that was surprising. Today, he improved big time in every aspect, and then it comes to the point where we know that Alex can beat anyone. I mean, I think he already beat Djokovic and Rafa on clay already, which was, this year. They asked him predictions for the final. How this tournament will shake out. He says predictions are a little bit disrespectful because when you say someone, it's like you're a bit underestimating the other guys. But at the moment, seeing Novak struggling with his leg, I would say it's going to be Carlos or Yannick because they're both playing good. Yannick had a tough one against Corentin Moutet yesterday, but he managed to come back. They both have a slam. They have experience. They're in the top 2, 3 in the world. So in my opinion, Carlos or Yannick. But let's see. Yeah, that's how it is starting to look. But let's just, as Medvedev said about de Minaur, let's look at his stats. Pretty incredible stats today. Unforced errors 40 out of de Minaur, 42 out of Medvedev. Medvedev usually wins by not hitting tons of winners, but hitting less unforced errors. De Minaur hits 40, so he's got less unforced errors. Medvedev beats him there. But look at the winners count. 51 winners from the guy that had to work on his power so that he could hang with the top players. Otherwise, he'd never be able to get there. That was what the coaching team came up with, and it's working. 51 winners against a guy who's really hard to hit winners against. Medvedev came up with 27. Even Medvedev said before this match, after his last match, after his win press conference, I guess is where he would have said these things. But he said, both of us, neither one of us has a dominant shot that's going to hit a lot of winners. We're two guys that play really good defense and don't make many mistakes. So we're going to have really long rallies because neither one of us will have a easy ability to hit winners because our biggest weapon basically is our defense. So for de Minaur to come out, it's like a statement win and hit 51 winners. Oh my God. Can he replicate it? I don't know, but it's noteworthy. It stands out. Guys playing like that, you got a shot against anybody. Fritz and Casper Ruud. Fritz, 72 winners, but a lot of unforced errors. He had 45 unforced errors to 30 from Ruud. And, I think he comes out overall, I think he's positive over Casper Ruud, so he actually wins in that stat. But what Casper Ruud's done so well, even watching him in Genève, Switzerland, but basically it's like France. It's all French people there at that tournament in the crowd. Watching him there, he's had a lot of tough matches, a lot of tough times. He's plays bad, gets his serve broken, but it's clay. So even if you have one of the best serves in the world in Taylor Fritz, on clay it's neutralized enough to where a great player like Rafa Nadal or Casper Ruud, who's been called in the past a right-handed version of Rafa, maybe a poor man's Rafa. Yeah, he's got 0 French Opens, but he's still young. We'll see how many he gets. But yeah, he's a similar game to Rafa, and that's something Rafa does so well on the clay. No matter how great of a server you are, he's always going to be able to break. So if you break him, he's got a great chance of breaking back and ultimately wrestling control away from you because he's so good in those rallies with the forehand. And that's what Casper Ruud was able to do to Taylor Fritz. And then looking at stats on Djokovic and Cerundolo, speaking of blasting winners, dude was playing great. He was hitting a lot of winners. 68. There you go. 52 from Joker. More unforced errors from Joker. Less winners from the Joker, and he finds a way to win. Let's look at my draw, and then we'll get out of here and see how well I did. So there you go. I had Joker Musetti. I had Joker come through Musetti. I had Joker come through TP, but you see that 3-2 there in the draw show that got banned by the French Open and no one ever saw. I said I would not be surprised to see Cerundolo in this match, and Joker beats Cerundolo because Cerundolo has a 3-2 head-to-head over Tommy Paul and just beat him in Madrid. I had Ruud beating Rinderknecht. Rinderknecht, I think he hurt himself by kicking something, is the reason why Etcheverry was the person there. So I can't account for guys being idiots and injuring themselves like that. I guess he was angry and he kicked something and hurt his foot. Anyways, I didn't see the match, but I saw that somewhere. I got Ruud coming through over Fritz. This is a pretty good draw so far. You see right there, yeah? You can see all the things that happened. Matches up quite well. Djokovic over Cerundolo. I'll take half credit for that because I said there's a great chance he'll be there. Ruud over Fritz. I get that one. And then, of course, Djokovic over Ruud. I'm just going to go with Joker and stick with my draw. But after the injury, it's just one of those things where, can he do it again? Who would have thought he would come back from 2-1 down again? But he did. Looking over here, how did I do? Pop that up. I had Zverev over Greek Spore. Khachanov surprised me dropping out like he did. But I had Holger Rune winning there in the third round, so I get that. I had the Demon and Struff, but I had Struff winning. Struff did win the first set, but it wasn't enough. This new Demon who's blasting all these winners, maybe that has something to do with it. This is maybe the worst pick I've made in a long time. I was so excited to see Pablo Carreño Busta was back from injury. I wasn't sure if we'd ever see him again. I was like, oh, you know what? He's going to make a run here. What an idiot. I did have Meds, though, there, and I had him beating Struff, but instead he loses the Demon. I mean, who could have predicted that? That's a great match from the Demon today. I got Zverev beating Rune, right? Did I have that? Or no, I had Zverev beating somebody. Khachanov. All right, well, at least I got the guy in the quarterfinals. And, of course, I messed up the Minaur. Medvedev. After seeing Minaur play so well, this is a hard one to pick. And give him full credit, because Medvedev, he had such a brutal match against Mahach, but he did get an easier match before that to get a little rest. So I think he was fresh enough. Whereas Zverev, I don't know if he's going to be fresh enough to take out the Demon now. I guess I'll stick with my guns. I can't really change it now. But Zverev Minaur could be a tough match. Zverev's got so much game. He should be the person that wins here, but we'll see. All right, let's take a look how I did here in this section. Not too good. I mean, I had Felix and Ben Shelton. I had Carlos and Alcaraz. I had Shelton beating Felix. Got that wrong. Not even close, really. 6-4, 6-2, 6-1. I mean, that makes sense. Shelton's still learning clay. Felix has been playing on clay for a while. I had Tsitsipas getting where he did. Wrong on Rublev. Wrong on Humbert. Wrong on Artefis. Wrong on a lot of stuff there. But fourth round, I got Steph, Carlos. I mean, I got the quarterfinals perfectly picked, pretty much. So I'm leaning towards Alcaraz now. Steph I had in the draw, but Alcaraz has impressed me. It looks like the injury is not such a big deal. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe Steph will give him a really tough match. I mean, that's why the question mark is there. I figured we would learn a lot about how Carlos is really feeling in this match. I'm leaning towards Carlos now. And then this is where I really got screwed. Hubie made a mockery. Hubie destroyed my draw. Maybe this is my worst pick in a while. Hubie in the semifinals. He did not get to the semifinals. This is where I screwed it up the most. Hubie goes down pretty early. I had Dimitrov losing in the third round or the fourth round. That's I got a part of the way. I got Sinner ending up in, let's see. I got Sinner losing to Hubie in the quarterfinals. All right, that's enough. This draw's making it depressed. Here's what we got tomorrow. Alcaraz and Tsitsipas. Before that, first up, Dimitrov and Sinner. And then the next day, we have Djokovic, Casper Ruud, and Zverev, Minaur. Just a matter of how good can Djokovic recover? How serious is the injury? How well can Zverev recover? I'm going to stick with him. he should win this match, but Minaur is much more dangerous than I would have thought at the beginning of the tournament, just seeing how he's played throughout the tournament. For tomorrow, I'm leaning heavily towards Alcaraz now, but of course, maybe Alcaraz's injury, it looks like it's getting better. Maybe Tsitsipas making him play a grueling, long battle of a match. Maybe that will expose the injury and bring it back out. Who knows what'll happen? But if I had to bet on it right now, I'd go to Alcaraz, and I think Sinner takes out Dimitrov, but I'm super thrilled to see Dimitrov doing so well. He joins an exclusive club now, having made the quarterfinals of all the majors and I believe all the Masters tournaments as well. So great to see a one-handed backhand playing Fed style out there, but I think Sinner's going to win that one in 4 sets. We will be back tomorrow. See you!